My guest today is an actor with an extensive career in film and television and on the stage. And whether you saw him first in Gunsmoke, Get Christie Love, Police Story, Wonder Woman, Vegas, ER, Stephen King's It, look, you've probably seen him in something you love, but he left an indelible mark in pop culture history playing the rebellious Pete Cochran in TV's The Mod Squad. Well, the story of his career in show business and the journey his personal life took is brought to life in a new memoir, which has the best title going, I Played the White Guy. Actor Michael Cole, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was pretty good. I like that.
Well, I suppose that over the years you've been asked about writing an autobiography. So what was it about today that made it the right time?
You know what? I had to wind up, to be blunt, and I always try to be, I had to wind up with this book being sober. And, I have many, many histories of drunk and fighting and all that stuff, and except when I was working. That was, somehow God gave me a law for that. And now I have peace.
Right.
Peace within myself. And you got to have some kind of spiritual thing, too, and I always have. And I've been out of trouble for quite a while now. And so I said, you're thinking clearly. And also I wanted to share, I never call fans, because to me that's like thinking down, speaking down to them. So I call, it's all my friends. That's where I come from with that, and it's been that way all my life.
Let me ask you about your very early upbringing, because I guess maybe people, if they associate you with the character of Pete Cochran, think, oh, well, maybe he grew up wealthy. Oh, no, that was not the case.
No. So it's quite the opposite, and that, of course, is in the book too also. But we grew up very, very poor. We, and I don't want it to sound like one of those overnight success, and then you got some bucks and all that stuff. I don't want it to sound like that at all. But my brother and I, we never had a father. And my brother and I, we had to me, one of the greatest mothers ever. She worked very hard to keep the three of us together. And she did. We went, I remember, if you got time, Davey.
Sure.
We went looking for him in Texas, because Ma got word that that's where he was. So when I was about 2, 3 years old, I still remember this man. We went down to Texas, and no matter what the hell we did, she couldn't find him. And bless her heart, she had to sell peanuts at the Cotton Bowl with 2 crying kids hanging on to get some money to come back to Madison.
Wow.
And in the beginning, in the preface of the book, is I had never talked to him. Are you ready for this, man? I had never talked to him. When Mod Squad came on, we had quite a few TV Guide covers. And the first one that I was on, right after that week, I got a call. We were on location down by Malibu in the ocean and that. And I got a call, and one of the crew guys says, "Here, Michael, it's for you. It's somebody from Dallas." And I said, "Oh, okay." I assumed it was a fan friend. And I answered the phone, and, "Hello, Mickey." Right away, Mickey. I haven't been called that since I left Wisconsin and I was a youngster. Mick, this is your father. What? This is your father? And I literally could feel the blood draining out of my head. I said, no. My father's dead. He said, no, this is your real father. I'm calling from Dallas. Just shut up. And you listen to me. If I ever see you or hear from you, I will kill you. Now, I was drinking quite a bit in those days, too, so not at work, but I would have found a way. You stay away from me, you stay away from Ted, and you stay away from Ma. If you don't, I will kill you. And don't ever call again, you son of a...
Sure.
And I put the phone down slowly. I just didn't know if what I heard was real, and I was, you got to excuse me, this is kind of hard to get out, but I wanted.
Yeah.
It led to many other things, and was filled with loathing and disgust, and there was so much history, so much that his abandonment had done to our family, and all I wanted to really do, Dave, was drink, and which is what I did best, really. I'm sorry to start off like this.
No, hey, listen, you never saw him again. That was it? No.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But he tried to get into Paramount Studios. And if I wouldn't have ever made a dime, he wouldn't have shown up. But he saw that TV guide company, and all of a sudden he's got a son. And I wish to share that basically because anybody else, and I'm sure there are some, this happened to me when I was a lot younger, but if there's anybody else that's got a problem like this or something similar, first of all, you got to stop drinking or get some kind of help with that, and stick your energy into your some kind of God. I don't care about religion, but some kind of higher being, and it helps to have a love.
Yeah.
Man, that was a lot of stuff.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll have more with Michael Cole.
I am just a poor boy.
We're talking with actor Michael Cole today on the Vintage Rock and Pop Shop, and his book is called I Played the White Guy, and it's available now at Amazon.com. I want to talk about something that's in your book that I found really fascinating, a chance meeting with Bobby Darin that more or less set you on the path of your career.
Thanks for asking that, Dave. Yes, I was bartending in Vegas, which is really not good for an alcoholic anyway.
No. Yeah.
But I was straight there because of, think about who you're working for.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you be straight and don't steal. Anyway, one day this guy comes in the bar, and I said, oh, my Lord, it's Bobby Darin. And so we had a little chat. He said, what can I get you, sir? And Mr. Darin, and I said, well, hey, what's your name? I said, Michael. And I said, I respect you so much, sir. And he said, no, that's fine. Thank you. And what are you interested in? And I said, I've got this thing that I've been carrying with me in my heart for so long about acting. Really? He said, hey, man, you've got to follow that through. If it's been with you this long, it's real. And you've got to follow it through. And so after talking to Bobby Darin, I'm dropping that name like we were best friends, but I'm not.
Yeah.
He encouraged me about following through on it. And so I saved some money. Living in Vegas, it's kind of hard to do, but I saved some money. I didn't gamble, saved a few bucks, and came to L.A. It was either New York or L.A. as far as, acting goes. And to this day in my heart, I thank Bobby Darin. So anyway, I saved money in Vegas, if you can believe that, and came to L.A. and got a job working at across the street from a very, very famous theater, the Huntington. And after the show let out, the actors would come over to the bar and have, drink and unwind a little bit, and et cetera, and I would be listening to their stories. And I got this all the time. It's feeding me,
Right.
feeding this feeling. And one night, a producer came in, and he said, "Michael, I understand you're interested in acting." I said, "It's more than interested, sir." He said, "That's good. It's a good place to start. But you have to study. I could put you in a play right now and put you in the background somewhere.
Right.
Who the hell wants that?" So he said, "You got to study." And he dropped the name of a very good coach. She was very famous at the time. Her name was Estelle Harmon. And she was the head of UCLA drama department at one time, which is huge. And she was with Universal Studios with their talent scouting stuff and all that. And then finally she opened up her own actors workshop. And so I went to Estelle's, and she was sitting there, and they said, "Estelle," well, now the producer had already called her and told her that I was coming over. And she said, "Yes, you must be Michael." I said, "I want to do a reading with you." "I want to do a what?" I quit school in 9th grade, which I don't suggest for everybody, but I love education. And doing a reading, it was from a wonderful film, a novel called All My Sons. I don't have to go into what it was about. What it was about was I had my James Dean thing going then.
Right.
I was angry at everything.
Right.
Just angry. Somebody said, "Hi, how are you today?" I said, "None of your business." Yeah, okay. And anyway, Estelle and I did this reading, which means she played one character and I would play the other.
Right.
And when we were done, again, I didn't have any idea what I was really doing, but evidently something happened right, because Estelle said, "I want you to come back." And now I'm really getting goosebumps and sweating. And she said, "You don't have any place to stay, do you?" And at that time, I was sleeping under the freeway, the
Wow.
Sunset Boulevard freeway. The 76 gas station on the corner was my bathroom.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, all that stuff, but I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me, because they were all experiences. And Estelle told me that I could sleep on the prop bed on the stage. And if all I had to do was like clean up and sweep the floors and stuff like that every once in a while. And so that's what I did for the next year or two.
What did she help you with?
What she did was so important to me. She never, like I said about school, she never tried to tell me and coach me how to act. She saw something that was in there, and I think all great coaches and young actors got to trust that. She felt something inside that she tried to bring out and make more powerful and make it clear. In other words, if there's a thing called emotional recall,
Mm-hmm.
and if a line in a script makes sense to you for more reasons than it's just good writing, I can relate to that. I remember when I was here, there, whatever, and that line is exactly what happened to me and what I felt. So you take that feeling and you put it on the page. along with the line. When the line comes up and you respond with that line, it's going to be real.
Let me ask you about getting the Mod Squad, because you mentioned this anger, that people would say, how are you doing? Get out of here.
Yeah, well,
right.
I ain't business.
So here you get called, because I love this story, because you get called into, I guess it's Aaron Spelling's office.
Oh, right.
He pitches the Mod Squad to you, and, I'll let you tell the story of your reaction.
All right, Dave. I didn't really know who Aaron Spelling was at the time, but he was really a powerful producer. And so this agent that I finally teamed up with said, I've been pitching you to Aaron Spelling. So I said, well, what's the show about? He'll tell you everything. So I'm right away, wait a minute, wait. I don't know if I want to do it if I don't know what the hell it's about. Just come over to Paramount with me, and I'll introduce you to Aaron Spelling. So, okay. Go over there and walk in Aaron's office. And he started off right away with his normal spiel. He was trying to sell his show. And I interrupted him and said, keep in mind, this is one of the most powerful producers in the country.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a minute, what's the name of it? And he said, we're going to call it Mod Squad. What? You're going to call it what? And now Aaron was only like about 30 pounds and 2 inches high anyways. And his eyes get real big and whatever. And I turned around to leave and said, now, to hell with this, I'm out of here. And he jumped up on his desk, and he said, Michael, wait a minute. That's exactly what I want. I thought he was going to call security when he said, don't go. Nobody's ever told me to stick around and the cops didn't come. So anyway, he said, that's exactly what I want. And I said, well, what the hell you mean? It's about young cops, isn't it? And he said, no, the show is really about caring. Oh, wait a minute. Now we got another whole new thing here.
Yeah.
And so I sat down and he told me, you will never carry guns. You will never arrest somebody your age, but you're going to be like undercover. And you can get into places that no adult, grown-up cop in uniform could get into. And he mentioned some of the things we'll be dealing with, and really issues never before on television.
Oh, yeah.
And that really got me. Racism, drug abuse, child abuse, that was one. The Vietnam War, and things like that.
And you went from sleeping under the freeway, and then next thing you know, there's a billboard with your face.
Right. I was I didn't have a car or anything, and I was walking over to Paramount. Now, I already had gotten the job, because they called.
Right.
I was walking to work one morning, and on the corner of Paramount Studios, there was a huge sign of the three of us, and my name was up there. I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah.
I just really could not believe it. I kept saying to myself, these guys are serious. Holy cow. What do you do now, Michael?
They put some money behind this, yeah.
Yeah. And so I started staying at Estelle's all the time then, and split the difference kind of between the freeway and Estelle, the workshop. And pretty much that was it. Aaron just was wonderful with me. And I started thinking, remember I mentioned that emotional recall thing?
Yeah.
I started thinking, because I'd been battling ever since I was 2 years old. I was battling the Catholic Church because my mother was excommunicated because of the divorce.
Right.
I started to get into a lot of trouble. I was an alcoholic when I was 13 years old. And again, getting in, my buddies were in prison, going to prison. And and then it was like on a chart. Think of a chart that just goes stratospheric.
Right.
And all of a sudden there I was. Paramount Studios.
Let me ask you about your co-stars, because you mentioned this idea the show is about caring, and the 3 stars of the show wound up being kind of like a family.
Do you remember Rebel Without a Cause?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So
I see where you're going with this. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and I thought you might.
Yeah.
That they and Sal Mineo and Natalie Wood, they were kind of the outcasts.
Right.
And they found an old mansion, and they started almost like their own family. And it worked. I got to say, Aaron and a couple of his people were geniuses at casting. And not just because of me, but because Aaron especially, saw in the 3 of us how much we would really love each other. And that came across on the screen.
Yeah.
And we truly became friends. And to this day, it's so neat to be able to call either Peg or CW, Clarence Williams.
Right.
To be able to call, and Peggy, bless her heart, she still calls me Mick for the Irish. Hey, Mick, oh, I miss you, and stuff like that. That's 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And we still have a love for each other that's incredible. And I think that was one of the successes of Mod Squad, that we truly cared. And that's where the caring comes in for each other. And we still do.
As we do start to wrap up here, I want to speak about your wife, Shelley. And you mentioned sobriety, and you've been sober for, it's been, over 20 years now?
Yeah, it's 24 or 5 years now, yeah.
And you credit your wife coming into your life and making it happen.
You know, that's what I meant when I started, when I was talking about alcoholism or drugs or something. You need not only yourself and a kind of spiritual thing that that attracts you, but hopefully you can realize when somebody loves you for no other reason than you and what you are. And that was Shelley. Man, when my mother had left the planet, I don't like that other word, about 3 years before, I met Shelley in a restaurant. Mm. And the first night we met, 24 or 5 years ago, we started talking. And I heard a voice in my heart say, "She's the one, Michael." And I said to myself, "I know, Ma, I know." And we have never been apart since that night. Never been apart. Without her, I'd be at one of 2 places, and I know it. I'd be dead or in jail, or maybe both. So she saved my rear end royally, and I don't really know what. I'm getting choked up thinking about it. Because I was an alcoholic and really getting bad, and still getting drunk and getting in fights and all that stuff. And So Shelley realized that I really am an alcoholic. And so she got this counselor guy that had a lot of actors and musicians and rockers. And she said, they called and said, come up to the office, because it's been going on for like 6 months or so. And what I was trying to do is a no-no, and that's like just curb your drinking or whatever,
Right.
to slow down.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Not if it's really got you, or drugs or anything. And I walk in this room, and there's Shelley and the council guy and a couple other guys and a couple other people. And I said, oh, the hell is this about? I didn't do it, no matter what. I didn't. I put my hands on the wall. I turned around, put my hands up on the wall, and said, oh, this is just like the old days. But I knew it wasn't. They were serious. Shelley, it's called an intervention.
Yeah.
And Shelley arranged it with my friend, and they said, actually, he said a beautiful line. He said, you got one arm around the bottle, one arm to steady yourself, and that leaves no arms to put around Shelley. Whoa, did that hit home?
Yeah.
And the guy says, okay, you got a couple of choices here, Michael. You can lose Shelley, or you can go to rehab. And I suggest Betty Ford right now. So within 2-3 days, Shelley was driving me to Betty Ford. And once all that crap is out of your system, you probably have seen some people, some drug addicts or alcoholics that have gone through all that
Yeah.
stuff, the drying out stuff, and it was pretty rough, but I believed and knew that Shelley loved me, and I could find my, if you will, my God again.
Right.
And somehow I did, or it worked, and then after that was really interesting, because I started going to an AA meeting that was very powerful, and it was just entertainers and actors. And I'm sitting there. I'll only say a couple of names because they've been famous for being out
Right.
a long time. I'm sitting there, and Ringo Starr is sitting across from me at this lawyer's in his office.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's kind of cool. Ringo's here. Oh, then some other really famous guy came in, sat down, and I sat next to the guy. You believe this? This is fate.
Right.
I was sitting next to the guy that the last time he was drunk, so many years ago, was with me.
Wow.
And I said, hey, man, what's this kind of neat? And, we got, he taught me the lifetime lesson. I said, there's, Ringo sitting in here and a couple other big, huge rock stars, a couple of actors. And I said to Denny, man, that's really neat. Ringo's in here. I said, no, Michael. In here, we're all just a bunch of damn drunks.
Huh.
And whoa, did that hit home.
Right.
Because we're all on the same level. And that's the way it's got to be if you're serious about drying out and being sober.
Well, you certainly were, because here we are in 2018, and you've got your book out with that powerful story.
Thank you.
Again, I played the white guy.
Yeah,
It just makes me laugh every time I see it.
I'm glad, because a lot of this, I got so kind of, I'm the white guy. Clarence is the black guy. Peggy's got the long blonde hair. Okay? and so that's the title of the book.
Yeah, and people can go to Amazon.com
Yes.
to get
yes,
it.
Sir.
Oh, and the most important or second most important thing, you are appearing along with, my goodness, Jill St. John. Everybody is going to be
yeah,
at the,
man, I forgot.
yeah, the Chiller convention.
Chiller is. I was there once before, and it was packed. As a matter of fact, Anne Margaret was one of the big ones there.
Right.
But now Jill is. Oh man, it's so. Again, thank God for Shelley, because I don't know what terminal I'm in half the time. Am I in New Jersey?
It's October 26th through the 28th, and I'm looking down the list of Barbara Eden, who oh my goodness, I had a crush on her. Barbara Feldon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it. I want to mention was the last time we were at Chiller, Shelley and I got a chance to see my really, really, really deep friend, Scott Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And he had passed, about a week or so ago.
Right.
And last time I saw him was at Chiller, and we've been buddies for over 50 years. And so I just wanted to mention his name and tell people I deeply loved him. Deeply loved him.
And all of your the friends of Michael Cole can
thank
go.
Thank you, Dave, for putting it that way.
They can go and see you and speak to you in New Jersey. I want to thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us today. It's been
David. I'm so glad I could, man. I talked to quite a few people on the phone for this, and I'm telling you right now, for me anyway, you are one of the best guys I've talked to.
Oh, thank you so much.
Just so we don't get in trouble.
All right, you take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
God bless.
Bye-bye. You too.